You are posted in a community health center as part of the mandatory 2-month rural community medicine internship postings. On a Saturday midnight, after coming from a dinner party, you get a call from the staff nurse to attend an emergency cesarean section of a mother who has sustained serious injuries following an automobile crash. On arriving at the labor theatre, obstetrician informs you that as the pediatrician is not available for the day, you will have to manage the newborn after delivery, and you are also informed that there is intermittent detection of the fetal heart rate. As you have been trained in ECLS before initiation of your rural postings, with the available history, you plan and prepare for resuscitation of yet to be born baby. Intern reaches the delivery room and performs a quick equipment check. She ensures there are 3 pre-warm towels, 1 to receive the baby, 1 for wrapping the baby, and 1 for repositioning the airway if required. There is a stethoscope available to check the heart rate of the newborn, a stopwatch to monitor the heart rate, a saturation probe, ambu bag with the right sized mask, whether it is term or preterm baby, with the oxygen source, a suctioning tube, infant feeding tube, intubation set for alternate airway, medications including syringe and a 3-way.
Baby not crying, sister. Where's the pediatrician?
Excuse me, ma'am. I'll take over the baby.
Baby is born. It's a term baby, limp, apneic and pale. The intern keeps the baby on the pre-warmed clean cloth, starts the stop clock, wipes the baby starting from the head, cleans the body, keeps the baby on a separate towel as 20 seconds are already done in the stop clock and the baby is still apneic. The intern decides to stimulate the baby. Stimulation can be done either by gently flickering the soles of the newborn or gently rubbing the back. So at the end of 30 seconds, intern decides to auscultate the heart rate using a stethoscope. Heart rate should be monitored only by counting the heart rate for 6 seconds. So intern decides to tap the foot when each heart rate is heard for a total of 6 seconds. She hears 8 sounds at the end of 6 seconds, so she multiplies it with 10, making it 80 beats per minute. As the heart rate was 80 beats per minute at the end of 30 seconds, which is less than 100, so the intern decides to initiate positive pressure ventilation using the ambu bag. So for initiating positive pressure ventilation, the intern gives positive pressure ventilation at the rate of 1 breath every second, making it at least 40 to 60 breaths per minute. Moment positive pressure ventilation is initiated, the intern connects the saturation probe to the right hand of the baby. After additional 30 seconds, the intern decides to check for the heart rate again. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So total of 1 minute is done from the baby's birth. and the heart rate is still 70 beats per minute. As the heart rate is still less than 100 beats per minute at the end of 1 minute, so intern decides to do ventilation correction steps. For effective ventilation, ventilation corrective steps are necessary in the neonatal resuscitation protocol. Easy way to remember the ventilation corrective steps is using the mnemonic MR SOPA. So M stands for mask adjustment. Intern checks for adequate seal of the mask. R is repositioning the airway. For repositioning the airway, a soft towel can be kept at the level of shoulder of the baby so that the airway is positioned. S is to suction if secretions are present which can obstruct the airway. Suctioning is done always in the mouth first, gently followed by the nose. O stands for opening the mouth. P is pressure increase. Increase the pressure of the positive pressure ventilation. Effective PPV can be seen with chest rise. And last A, seek for an alternative airway. The intern has now secured the airway. She counts the heart rate at the end of 30 seconds. Intern could hear 4 heartbeats for 6 seconds, making it a heart rate of 40 per minute. As the heart rate is less than 60, she decides to initiate chest compression. Synchronized with effective ventilation, we need to follow the thumb encircling technique. For the thumb encircling technique, the intern keeps the thumbs at the imaginary line just below the 2 nipples, encircles both the hands to support the back of the baby, and with both the thumbs, she gives chest compression to at least compress 2/3 of the chest wall of the newborn. And for circulation and ventilation to be synchronized, she gives chest compression at the rate of 90 per minute, while the ventilation will be continued at the rate of 30 per minute. To ensure this, we need to recite chest compression as 1 and 2 and 3, and for ventilation as breath. So 1 and 2 and 3 and breath. 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 In the meantime, the additional team member has secured the umbilical vein catheterization through a 5 French infant feeding tube. At the end of 1 minute of starting chest compression with effective positive pressure ventilation, intern assesses the heart rate of the newborn. She taps the ground 5 times. So she could hear 5 beats for 6 seconds, making it a heart rate of 50 per minute. Intern asks the staff nurse to secure the UVC with a 3-way and administer preloaded adrenaline at the rate of 0.1 to 0.3 ml per kg. Epinephrine can be repeated if needed for every 5 minutes. Continue PPV and chest compression for at least 60 seconds after giving epinephrine. After 60 seconds, intern assesses the heart rate again. Heart rate has improved and now it is 70 per minute. So she decides to discontinue chest compression but continue positive pressure ventilation at the rate of 40 to 60 breaths per minute. At the end of 30 seconds, she reassesses the heart rate. Heart rate is now 120 per minute with a saturation of 75%. Intern continues positive pressure ventilation for additional 30 seconds to ensure stability prior to transport. The heart rate now is 140 per minute with saturation of 97%. She adjusts the oxygen based on the oximetry readings and takes a deep decision. She updates the parents, secures the ET tube as well as the UVC, and she informs the SNCU care at district hospital about the transfer.